Welcome to this one. This is a unique podcast. It's, of course, with myself and Nikhil chatting to Kendahl Voelker. I hope I've said that right, because if I don't, I'm going to get a pillow around the head. Kendahl Voelker is a PFC pillow fighting championship fighter. This is what she does. Professional pillow fighting, people, is a thing. It's kind of gone big in the last few weeks and months even. The whole world is talking about it. There's tournaments all over the world. And we got to speak to one of the leading names in pillow fighting. I know what you're thinking. What? Pillow fighting? But you got to look it up, and look up Kendahl as well. Start following her on Instagram as well. And you'll see the training, you see what she gets up to, how seriously it's taken as a kind of regime and a discipline, but also through her story, you hear about everything that she put in to become now a professional pillow fighter. I mean, Nikhil, you know all about businesses starting new things. What did you make of our chat that people are about to hear?
I think it's one of the most motivating chats, to kind of listen, because of her journey line of shifting from different sports, right? She wasn't a pillow fighter from the start, the different sports she's pursued, and then changing from one sport to the other, and what, the importance of discipline, the importance of embracing failure, the importance of, showing up every day, putting in the hours. So there's a lot of great analogies to business, right, that you can take from her story we heard today.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it's amazing how screwed on her head is. She is fully focused, not only on her physicality, but also her mental well-being as well. It's incredible. Honestly, she's a superhuman being. So we are proud on the Tommy Sandhu podcast, in association with GoDaddy India, where we want you to start your digital dream. Start it. Go register your domain name, because we're about to speak to Kendahl, who started her dream to become the best pillow fighter in the world. Here she is. It's Kendahl Voelker. And there she is. Those magical hands, those pillow grabbing hands. Look at them. They should be insured. They should be insured for millions of pounds. We're rolling. Thanks. We're officially going. We are live. You are beaming across the world. Nikhil, don't look so scared. I know it's intimidating. No, he's very intimidated, is my friend Nikhil. He's not used to being around strong, powerful people like us, Kendahl, right? That's what it is. No, I'm only kidding. So Kendahl, meet Nikhil, who is the MD of GoDaddy India, who is kindly one of our kind of joint supporters on this podcast. But also, we like to celebrate people like you, people doing things a bit different. So how are you today, Kendahl? Let's start with that. You okay?
I'm great. I just got my day started. I had a bit of a late night last night. I was in Miami working with some kids and in a dojo, actually owned and operated by the male pillow fighting champion of the world. Oh. So I got to work with them and do a couple of fun pillow fights last night, and it's been a good day so far.
Okay, so hold on. There's like is there a harmony amongst the male pillow fighting world and the female pillow fighting world? Everyone works together?
Well, I think it's easier for men and women to work together because we don't actually have to fight each other. So that's a bit more harmonious. Now, the men are a bit more competitive, and the women are just like anybody, any day. So.
Women have much what they call the sixth sense, right? So you're able to outwit the men using your sixth sense. But I was just talking earlier that now it's an officially combat sport, isn't it? I just read something last week that pillow fighting is an official combat sport declared in the US and worldwide.
Yeah, it is.
Which is a good thing, because I think, how long have you been in the game for, Kendahl? How long has this been going on for you?
This will be my third month in February.
Okay, so third month, since you picked up a pillow and hit someone with it? I mean, like what? I mean, when was that moment? So did you join the sport when it became a bit more official, or is this like have you been in underground pillow fighting clubs all this time, meeting up in kind of, subways, just roughing up people in the most loveliest possible way, and now
That's
it's
great.
I don't know.
No,
actually, led up to this moment.
No, okay, so I was suggested that I should fight, or they asked me I should fight about 3 days or 4 days before December 17th I think it was December 17th. And they had a match at Deuces Wild MMA. It was located at the Dania Beach Casino in Dania Beach, Florida. And I fought on the card, and it was very fun. It was very challenging, and I really enjoyed it. So when they said they were having a championship, I said, yes, put me in. So
Right.
it's been, I've been training and using all of my training to go into the pillow fighting ring. So it's just a bit more focused with my training now.
Yeah, and I can see that. And this is what I love about it. Okay, so I've got to kind of get a few things clear. Firstly, we are here on the Tommy Sandhu podcast, celebrators of life, right? We love, you and I have already exchanged a few messages, and you were like, Tommy, you sound so positive. I'd love to be a part of the podcast. It was all so lovely. But I'm glad you picked on that, because positivity is really the heart of what we do. And here I saw, you doing what you do. It's made like the national newspapers here. Your name's all kicking around the planet right now.
Cool.
Have you not? First, let's address that first of all. Have you not found a sudden surge in interest, like just this week alone? Has it gone a bit nuts?
So I was going viral for about 2 or 3 weeks before my actual fight, because we did like a little sparring and media day event at NDO Dojo in Delray Beach. And I was sparring with this jiu-jitsu black belt and a personal trainer, and her husband's an MMA fighter. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to use all my training, like forget my last loss. What did I learn, leading up until this point? So I just went out there and did a few things that I knew, and I knocked her down. And it was a pretty great knockdown. You get more points if you do a spinning back fist. So I did one of those and I knocked her down. And I'm a very strong person. I've been doing Olympic lifting style with weights since I was 13 years old. I'm a retired volleyball and collegiate athlete. And picking up pillow fighting now, I get to be powerful and put all of my strength behind the pillow. So I knocked her down, and 2 of my clips went viral and made Barstool Sports, ESPN Women's, House of Highlights, and a bunch of other meme accounts picked it up. So it's just been fun.
That's incredible.
Now, Tommy, I can see you getting scared. Now it's your turn. The minute she mentioned about Olympic training and everything, I love it. I could see your face.
I love this stuff. Honestly, I got so excited about this when I saw the clips. As soon as I saw the news stories, I was like, I love it for so many reasons, because I like the fact that there's less risk of injury. I like the fact that I know there is a lot that goes into it. If anything, there's a whole different dimension now to slugging something, a weighted something around. Yeah. And that will have different requirements on your body than throwing fists or blocking yourself. And it will have different movements. It will have different tolls on different parts. I'm thinking your back, your lower back, your lats, your shoulders. I mean, you like you said, you've done all those sports. Where does the burn lie in pillow fighting? Is it arms? Is it back? Where is that? Where's the
you have to have a lot of grip strength. You have to have a very strong grip on the pillow. You can't drop it, or else they'll deduct points from you. So right here and right here, I try to wrap my hand as much as possible so that's protected. But you have
for people listening, it's in the thumb, the kind of the chicken drum bit of the thumb, and the little finger and the pinky.
I've had an injury where skin came off because I was gripping and ripping the pillow so hard, my skin just came right off. So I have to protect my pinky and my thumb. And the next burn is maybe the forearm. You have to have really good upper body strength. I talked about joint health in one of my interviews recently, and that's super important. But then the next burn is your legs, because you're in fight stance, you're moving around the whole time. You have to be dynamic with your approach and your footwork, period. So the legs, definitely, not just here, but the legs.
Oh man.
But my back is there I've been lifting weights literally for 20 years, so it's just cardio and fatigue, Yeah.
But so are the pillows are they weighted pillows, meaning are the categories this amount of weight per pillow and then this amount of weight per pillow or something? Or is it a
Yeah.
same pillow weight across all categories?
No, it's not the same pillow weight across all categories. I believe the men's pillow is about a half pound to maybe 3/4 of a pound. It's not a full kilogram more, but it's heavier. And I think the women's pillow is 1.6 pounds, maybe just like 1 kilogram, maybe I think up to that. It's not like 2 pounds, but almost there. So there's a difference in the weight. There's also a difference, I think, in the composition of the pillow too. I think the men's may be filled with feathers and the women's are like the generic like fluff. I don't know. It could have changed. I don't know, because I don't have a men's pillow anymore. I should, just for, practice,
No.
but I only have the women's.
I love the fact that there's a generic fluff. I'm going to call my podcast that. My next podcast will be called Generic,
The generic
Fluff.
fluff.
What is he talking about? He's just talking generic fluff. In fact, that's what I do
which
now.
Tommy, anyway, everybody talks about you. Everybody talks about you like
I'm
It's
an
the truth.
ideal woman.
Generic fluff.
You can keep that one. That one's free.
Thanks. Thank you very much. The generic fluff with Kendahl. There we go. I thought what we're doing. It's brilliant. I'd say that should be your podcast. No, but what's it? Okay, so just actually, let's get to the bones of that bit, because how do the fights work? So how many rounds? What are we doing? Just for brand new people, what is the format of a pillow fighting championship sort of match?
So typically you go 3 rounds, and each round lasts 90 seconds or 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then they, clap the blocks at 10 seconds. And if you are the last person to swing the bag and make contact, then if it's a split decision, then it will go your way because you got the last hit in.
Okay. And what hurts? What takes you out? What knocks down an opponent? Is it a blow to the body? Is it the head? Where do you want to strike them? What scores points, or what does the damage?
Primarily headshots. I think headshots are the only one that count. There was a time when I was fighting, like my first bout, I believe that body shots in the torso only, and anything from the legs down, like you can knock them down and such, and I think that's points. But hitting the torso, I think, is 1 point or no points, and headshots are all the points. It may be 1 or 2, but a spinning back pillow, I believe, is 3 points, and if you actually knock them down, it's 5 points, I think.
Wow, I love this.
So knocking down is that it hits and you just lose your balance and go off? Is that like the typical, like a boxing, like you hit him and they're gone? Or what is a knockdown in the pillow fight?
So you have to actually knock them down. I mean, sometimes you trip up on people's legs. I have long legs. I've tripped on people before, but it's not a knockdown. You can't trip people. This isn't judo. This isn't jujitsu. This isn't grappling of any kind. It's straight striking with the pillow only.
See, and again, like I'm just, because I'm now sort of getting into it and get my head around it. With boxers, you talk about your reach, right? But then you've got a reach here with the pillow. So it's a whole different kind of awareness you've got to have of your body, your limbs, because then you've got to add then this additional part on and work with that. So you are, I mean, I feel like on the evolution, on the Darwin of pillow fighting, you are at the beginning, right? You're the ape. Sorry, in the nice possible way, Kendahl. What I'm saying is, where it's all starting out, you're adapting your body, you're adapting your training now to learn what's involved in this, and it looks tough. I've seen some of your videos. I've seen what the training's involved. This is no joke in terms of the training. What do you? I mean, it's very easy to make light of, hey, it's pillow fighting, but there's some combat and there's some serious hard work involved for you, isn't there?
Yes. And my, without giving away secrets, I like to have a pillow behind every single swing. And I trained when I was 8 or 9 years old. I think it was 8. I lived in Saudi Arabia. Now, there weren't a lot of opportunities for little girls to do traditional travel sports. So on our compound on which we lived, there was a master of Kendahl, a kudai, and it's a Filipino open hand and foot fighting. So that's where I got my swing from, I guess, some more of the 8 limbs incorporated fighting style and kicking and such. So then when we came to the United States, finally, I was like 11 or 12, and I started my volleyball career in lifting and track. And I've always done golf and softball and played baseball and whatnot. But after that, I picked up boxing again. And boxing is something I've watched since day one with my father. So I train boxing. I do my jujitsu. I'm a jujitsu fighter as well. And I train my boxing. I don't really do a lot of MMA, but I do train with a lot of MMA fighters and work on my swing style. Now, I have, like I said, a lengthy volleyball career, and I have different shots and different motions and approaches and better proprioception with my whole being when I put force behind a swing. So adding a pillow to it is difficult because, well, it's not that difficult for me in essence, because I already have the strength and I already do the resistance training and whatnot. It's just like working on the speed now. So I'm trying to get faster because I'm fast with my bare hands, but again, when you have something weighted and you're doing it all the time and you're throwing this socket out, forward, back, everywhere, this is a ball and socket joint. It's the most unstable. It's not like your knee. It's not a hinge joint. So you really have to take care and be strong and be flexible in all the ranges of motion. So it's just, for me, it's easier to apply that from right to left because I've been doing it literally my whole life. People who just have a boxing background, who just have a jiu-jitsu background, I don't think that they're going to have the competitive advantages of someone who has actually done traditional sports in tandem with combat sports their whole life.
So to what extent have all your roads led to this sport right now? I mean, come on,
sure.
but listen to that as a calling, like kind of go, I mean, if you were almost then, I think now creating the perfect or the ideal candidate for pillow fighting at this level, and obviously we can all swing a pillow and try and take out our sibling.
I feel like I'm an all-American of pillow fighting at this time. And I actually joke with my jiu-jitsu professor, Ricardo. I'm like, I'm the professor do pillow porrada.
Which is what's
it means I'm the professor of pillow beatings, pillow fighting.
You will be. You'll go down in the record books if this goes the way we're hoping the sport will go. The name goes down in the history books forever. But isn't it funny? Because look, we talk about, Nikhil and I talk about kind of on a spiritual level, on a mental level, for people. GoDaddy are all about people starting their thing, whatever their thing is. Get your domain name, get going, get rolling, register. You've had this kind of pillow fighter in you, I suppose, all these years with all the martial arts you've done, the weight training you've done, the sports that you've done, and now you're in I'm sorry, Nikhil, I'm going to ask you this almost in a way. Kendahl's in a new market with her skills, but there's no one ahead of her to follow in terms of a business plan, in terms of a how to train plan. That takes bravery, doesn't it, Nick? I mean, even from a business sense, from an entrepreneurial sense.
Certainly. I mean, I think this is like when in business we call first to market, right? And Kendahl is kind of in that sense a first to market a brand in itself, right? And I think now it's all like we are like building this brand because ultimately sports needs brands to support them and build your kind of both your individual brand and the brand of the sport, right? Like you get the NFL in the US, the NBAs and all that stuff, right? Those are known sports. So I think in her case, I mean, it's a really a leap of faith of getting to something which is heavily commercialized. And I think it's a typical, I'd say, an entrepreneurial journey, which a lot of uncertainty. But I think, with her background of taking risks, right, going from like Olympic training to jiu-jitsu to boxing to this, I mean, the traits are all there, right? So, I maybe want to throw back a question to you, Kendahl. Like, you have an interesting background. You studied legal education, as I understand. You studied international business, and now, you got this pillow fight as your passion, right? I mean, how's all that come together?
It's been I have led an interesting life. I've had a very fortunate life. I'm very blessed for my circumstances, but there is no substitution for hard work. So anything that I do, I work very hard and dedicate myself to. And at this time, I'm fortunate to dedicate my time and training to pillow fighting and whatever leads into that, and kind of explore this new first to market scenario, as you called it. Yeah, and I do have a background. received a full ride volleyball scholarship to the University of Virginia. And after I received a bachelor's in sociology from that institution, then I came back. I worked in the legal realm, personal injury and medical. And then I worked for a real estate investment trust that owned and operated assets like towers, cell phone towers, broadcasting infrastructure, digital infrastructure, things of that nature. And I managed those assets for almost 7 years. And I was in the legal department as an asset manager. And I was also able to do my master's in international business at Florida Atlantic University. And it's just, anything I set my mind to, I attack, and I just want to do the best job I can do. And I found myself doing the same thing every day. And I'm like, how can I feel powerful again? I'm powerful in my own right, in my own mind. And I've accomplished certain academic and educational feats. What's next? So I started jujitsu. I picked back up with boxing, and pillow fighting just came through. And putting it all together, I hope that I can travel and go international with this. I speak a little bit of 5 languages, almost 6, if I really want to try. And I've lived my life all around this world, so I just feel like I should be out there traveling and doing sports again, because it was always my dream to be an Olympian, and I was on that track. And I did have an injury that took me out of the game, literally. So it's just like getting back into it and becoming a pro 2 times over.
I got to firstly pick up on the fact that on a legal level, you covered personal injury, people's claims, and now you beat people up. I'm just saying there's a 360 service there where you could almost do someone over and then provide the legal cover for them to sue yourself for doing any damage to them. I mean, it feels like it's full circle.
It's a perfect business model.
Talk about cover both ends. I'll get paid to beat you up, and I'll get paid to represent you when you're sick. It's brilliant. But no, I think that's so unique, Kendahl. And I don't know if you take a moment, because I don't think you probably do, knowing someone like you, is you just go, and you obviously do throw yourself into situations, and that's so. Oh God, it's so the thing that I'm kind of reading about and kind of learning about myself now, which is just about the now and getting into what's required now. You can worry about, how I want to look, in 6 months' time after my training, but actually it requires getting up and getting to the gym now.
Yeah. You have to show up as that person every single day. You want to fit into that outfit, go get that outfit, but wear it, because you're going to feel motivated once you start becoming that. You see yourself as that, and you just got to go out there and do it. My father says, he says that if you stop moving, you start dying. You stop learning, you start dying. So in all what I do, I try to learn and not stop moving, because not moving and succumbing to lethargy is not an option.
No. And what about that injury?
Yeah, and it sounds like you're...
Go on.
Sorry, Tom. I think
just
picking up one thing, it sounds like your initial years of training, right, in sports has really helped you keep doing these changes, because it looks like, you went from one sport to the other and one training to the other. And, when you think of really an entrepreneur mindset, right, it's just like stopping something when it's not working, or you want to expand your horizon and, go to something new. And seems like, if you draw your journey line, right, as I'm hearing you, like there are like 15, 16 different points where you've shifted from one to the other and applied the same discipline of showing up every day, training every day, putting in the hours every day, right? I mean, it seems like there's a very strong, powerful lesson there from you.
Yeah, discipline brings freedom, and freedom is contextual, whether we're born into a certain situation or we're simply just born into it, reacting from it. How can you change the narrative? And it all starts in your mind. And what I say to people, you can't build a house on a cracked foundation, and you really have to take care of yourself first and spend time by yourself and cultivate your mind and find the internal motivation. No one can do that for you, nobody. So I spent a lot of time, my free time, during training or not during training, like just system check, like how am I doing? How can I improve? What can I do that grows me like personally? And I found playing Sudoku and reading, and my father says don't stop moving, so I'll go for a run. I'll do things to make myself better every day. And I came up with something like fighting is my sickness, and I just want to get better every day. So like that's my mentality. Like I gotta find a cure, I gotta get better. So yeah.
That kind of answers the question I was going to say, which is being taken out of the game. You said that, with injury. So many people will face that equivalent thing in their life, whether they're in business, whether they're in sport. I mean, you hear about, 98% of all the footballers that sign up to football academies or even basketball players don't make it to the big leagues.
Right.
You get taken out and you've soldiered on. And I think your dad's played a big part, because clearly you've quoted him 3 times already, which is lovely.
Yeah.
No, hey, listen, we're a bit of an Indian podcast, so family and mum and dad are a big deal in our life. So and we know we know the roles and the importance of the roles that they play and the influence they have.
They do.
Does it come from mum and dad? Does it come from dad in particular, or the kind of the carrying on and even the dealing with the injury?
My mom is my biggest cheerleader, as well as my dad. She calls herself the Fighting Irish, and he's the determined German. So with them two in the house, they're just super uplifting. We grew up living around the world. I've lived in Canada, England, and Saudi Arabia twice. We were always a very small unit. We always had to be very protective. And I grew up with censored television too in Saudi. Like, it is what it is. So I was always playing sports. He was always coaching me, and he really mentored me a lot, because I was bullied. I was always the bigger girl. I had freckles and like crazy hair, and like I was a little chubby, I'm not gonna lie. So I was always the new kid, and I was to this or to that wherever I went. And he's like, just show them the back of your head, turn the other cheek. He comes from more of a educated, stoic mentality, whether he knows it or not. And he is so well educated just because he talks and deals with and does business with so many people from all over the world. And my mother too, she went with him almost everywhere. And so they just understand more about what people will face out there in the real world, in business and school and in life and in different countries and cultures. So that education was essential to what makes me who I am today. And my parents definitely played a big role, because I really didn't know who is in the media, what TV shows are hot and popular, what music's good. I was always listening to like French tapes and looking up stuff on Encarta, Microsoft Encyclopedia, and doing like just flashcards and stuff. I don't know. It was just different, because I was always in a constant state of learning. If I wasn't playing sports, what's at the house? Learning. And music, I played the trumpet and French horn like for 10 years, so it was always involved in something. Like, you don't want to rest is important, but like you got to keep your mind busy. So yeah, dad.
Yeah, no, I love that. But then to what extent is everybody else, to what extent are everybody else that you meet, everyone that you meet, they're lazy? You must look at them and go, get off your fat backside and start doing so. Because you look at you're at like gear 6, on the manual car. That's high, right? So I'm just going to, right? So it's like your foot down. You're going to be training. You don't sit still. Yes, and then even when you do sit still, you'll have meditative time to kind of, heal. Or then you're even Sudokuing. I don't think you're the kind of I think I'm going to, get a box of KFC and just slob out in front of a Netflix series, or maybe you do.
I mean, it has its place, but it's not an everyday thing. And like I said, you have to build. If you want to show up as this person, you have to do the habits and the things that put you on the next level. And that cracked foundation, it comes with like your disciplines and your habits and like who you are at your core. So once you've got that settled, then you can build the next level. So if you're eating KFC at least once a week, I mean, I don't eat KFC, even though it's probably very delicious. I know that they have like this mashed potatoes with gravy, and like the skin is delicious on the chicken with the bowl and I don't know. I've never had one, but I've seen it. And I'm like, maybe on a cheat day next year.
Okay.
But you got to eat right. And you have to. I see myself as a machine, and I don't want any grains of sand in my microchips. So I'm going to do everything I can to be at this level, because I have people up here that want to put me down here. So I just got to show up as that person every day. But you have to prioritize rest. Like, prioritizing rest is important, but like, treat your body right. Have a purpose behind it.
You mentioned about, motivation a lot and discipline, right? And I think, Tommy, to your point earlier, a lot of people start well, but then they stop halfway through, because keeping that daily motivation or daily rigor, somehow you get burnt out or somehow you get distracted, right? So, and I mean, how do you, just share some lesson here for people, right? Because a lot of time, everybody starts up, right? January 1st, the gym signed up, oversubscribed 200%. February 15th, it's dropped to 60%, right? So just generally, people just start and then they just disappear, right? I mean, what would you just help people advise or think about, like how to keep up motivation, right? How to keep up with failures, which they anyway will have when they start a new journey?
That's a great question. Starting a new journey, taking that first step is difficult, but the joy is in the journey, and it's going to get difficult. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, period. And we all go through ups and downs in our life. So when you start a new journey, you have to understand there's going to be rocks in your path. You either kick them aside or you jump over them. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable, also being kind to yourself and recognizing that you've gone too hard. Some people, and this is how injuries happen, you have to slowly get into it. So when people want to say, Kendahl, how do you do this? How do you get your 6-pack abs? Or like, how do you stay shredded? I'm like, how did I start? I started doing things that I liked. And being seen outside in the sunshine, going for a walk on the beach, those are things that I like. So I started incorporating walks outside in the sun because I'm also a bikini model and I don't want to do a spray tan. So I'm like, I need some sun. Vitamin D is good for your health. I'm going to do that naturally and just be outside, see people smiling, whatever, and just get out there. So just going on a 20-minute walk, taking a bottle of water, staying hydrated. Then once you've got walk and circulation and you're hydrated, then you can start adding things to your diet or taking out things from your diet slowly but surely. You have to be kind to yourself. You can't just jump into things. People expect immediate results. No, that's how injuries happen. I can't go deadlift 275 pounds like I used to. I'm at like maybe 135 right now because I'm not trying to be like Diesel right now. I'm treating my body for my sport in the way that I think I should be. So you have to be gentle and ease into it and build up to it. You can't just jump right in. That's how burnout happens. That's how injuries happen. Warm up to it. Hydrate, walk, start treating your diet right, start incorporating different exercises, and then go from there. Be nice to yourself.
That's lovely. Okay, so what's lined up? Where's the sport going? What's coming up for you? Competition, tournaments? How can we all see more PFC on the TV, online, or what happens now?
Oh, well, it's on YouTube now. They put some of the fights on YouTube. They misspelled my last name, which is fine, but it's up there now. So You can see some of this stuff on YouTube. I think it's just Fight PFC on their YouTube. Also on their Instagram, they're always putting stuff on Instagram. They're in partnership with Fight TV. Fight TV hosts the pay-per-view. Everything's was on pay-per-view only. You can still buy it, but now they've put clips and different fights up on YouTube. What's coming up next? I believe they are looking to do an international promotion. Their first promotion was in Delray Beach. Their second promotion was in São Paulo, Brazil. The third promotion was in Miami Lakes, Florida. And I believe the next upcoming tournament, maybe, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but it may be in a different country. And I think it will be on pay-per-view again on Fight TV. The details I don't think I'm at liberty to say because it's still up in the air, but I think we will be going international next tournament.
Hey, Kendahl, if only we knew someone who was a big player in India who could maybe bring this to India. Nikhil, head of GoDaddy India. I don't know if you know anyone.
Yeah, Tommy, there's a pillow fighter in every bedroom in India. I can tell you that. Because Kendahl was saying she says she speaks 5 languages. I'll add the 6th language, which is called the pillow fight language, because that's how it started. So I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who love to come and embrace this sport because they're already doing it in a very amateurish way, and the minute you bring it in a professional way, it'll just open the doors to a lot of potential good pillow fighters. I'm sure
some cricket players would like to do an uppercut, swing.
It's a similar training. There's got to be a crossover. In fact, we could almost. I can see the adverts for PFC already. I can see that as a pillow fight because you just replace Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar with pillows in their hand. Just digitally change that, and they'll all I'm telling you, it's coming. But remember where you heard it first. Kendahl, listen, it's great talking to you. Again, I'm just super proud of someone starting a brand new thing, starting a new journey.
Thanks.
And yet, starting the journey clearly after so many little hurdles that you've been through, the training that's involved, everything you put yourself through, you are a machine. And I think that's the German side, but the big smile is the Irish side. So it's a lovely mix. No, it is. It's great. It's great to have your company. And thank you for making the time for us. We'll be following you. We'll be following
one
you
last thing.
intently.
One last thing, Tommy. Do you have your own website and a domain name, Kendahl? If not, we should start it, because that's your brand. And a lot of time brand building is not only done on social media, but because your website is your own individual identity. So if you don't have it, I'll follow up with Tommy and let's get you started, because that's where you put all your content, all what you do, all the stuff you're talking about, right? It's going to be motivating and also building your own individual brand.
You know what? You're talking my language, and people are business as well. And I think that that's a great idea. It's not something that I've done before, so I'm certainly open to the concept, and I'm interested in your follow-up.
I love it. You're so, look at you. I swear, you're so German in your way. Like, okay, I'm processing what you've just said, and I am happy with what you have said. It's like, it's just, you're a machine. I love it. Well, listen, we will follow that up. I'm the non-machine side. I'm the side that goes, I get distracted by the golden arches on the way to the gym. That's me. But I'm sorry. I'm admitting it, Kendahl. I'm not perfect, okay, but I love that. I love that. We will absolutely follow that up, because I think what you're doing is incredible, and we love it. And hopefully there'll be people listening, kind of spreading it around now, just kind of going, did you know pillow fighting's a thing? And you're a big name in the sport, so just keep smashing people up, and we'll be following your success completely. All right, enjoy it. Thank you, Kendahl. Thank you for your time. Cheers, Nikhil, as always.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I heard, genuinely, this is just as a fact, I heard that if you hit subscribe to this podcast now, if you have subscribed on Apple or on Spotify or on JioSaavn or wherever you are listening right now, if you are subscribing and getting that on a regular, which means you get the little notification when the new episode comes out, fact, this is a fact. Don't tell no one else's. If you hit subscribe, you can eat as many jalebis as you want and you will never put on weight. I know. I don't understand the logic. It makes no sense to me. I mean, how's a podcast relate to the DNA way in which your body breaks down jalebi sugar stuff running through your... I don't understand, but what I do know, it's a little cheat to life. So if you like jalebis, then you should hit subscribe to this podcast. Oh, and follow us on social media too. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Follow us. Eat jalebis. Be happy.